Good afternoon from Studio B here at the Beach Street Yacht Club in San Francisco, where it's shortly after 1300 Pacific Standard Time. My co-host Julia Vatican, as usual, is in good form here the table across from me, and I'm your host, Tom Eamon. Welcome to the show. Greg Phillips from the Gold Coast is already on, as is Chris Fury from Melbourne. Both Aussies. The first two on today. Peter Taylor's back in New York City. It was nice to see Peter here last week in San Francisco. Alistair Murray, Mr. President Emeritus, also in somber, grieving Australia. We'll talk about that a little bit at the top of the show. What a sad weekend, Julia.
Oh, it was.
Ed Vitrano begging to see the sun in the Delta up east and north of us a little bit here in the Delta.
It's going to have its share of rain, I'm afraid.
Yeah, it looks like it. Rick Bannerow, happy Tuesday, y'all. Pedro Foiling Sailor, another Aussie. Sad time this week in Australia, but remember, we're all in this together. We're watching replay off to the chiropractor. Now have a good visit to the chiropractor. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Welcome to this show, 892, as we get into it and into the starting line for a happy Tuesday. At least it's not, man, it was an awful weekend, Julia.
It was.
And happy, it's a miracle the oil lasted 8 days.
Yes.
You know what that is?
Yes.
What is that?
For Hanukkah.
For Hanukkah, exactly. Happy Hanukkah to everybody who celebrates it. Upcoming Sailing Illustrated schedule. No show this Friday. 3 shows next week. We'll talk about that, including the Sydney Hobart Watch Party. Bravo Zulu, there's a huge turnout for the World Sailing's Youth World Championships underway now in Vila Moura in Portugal. 400 sailors from 70 nations.
Wow.
We'll celebrate that at the top of the show. Then a coaching corner with John Emmett, who's giving a Bravo Zulu to our feature today. Commodore Clare Harrington's been finding her own pathway for herself and others to and through New York Yacht Club and way beyond. The cool lady that she is. And we will feature her today. That's our main topic, Clare Harrington's election as the New York Yacht Club Commodore for 26-27. And, of course, their first ever female Commodore at the esteemed New York Yacht Club. We have an AA from Alistair Murray, who sat with his mate Darren Eager. Another leading light in our beloved sport. It was nice to get to know Darren, at least by video. Sail GP, a nice video, highs and lows of Season 5. And guess what, Julia?
Yes.
Andy Maloney now has transferred. I think he learned to sail, grew up maybe in the States, but he's a Kiwi, and he was with the Kiwi team. Then he was with the Brazilian team, and now he is with... We'll reveal that in the show.
I just saw it.
He's just transferred to another team from Brazil to another team. The Southeast Asia Games with the Star Sailors League we told you about a week ago, they're underway in Thailand. In fact, Thailand leads the 5 nations that are participating. And then finally in the round Hong Kong Island race, FOSI Lily Zhu, Golden Lily, took line honors in in a bunch of boats.
Oh, great.
In that race around Hong Kong Island. Of course, this day in history, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, and of course, Julia, our fantastic FOSI.
Absolutely.
How could we do this show without the FOSI?
We couldn't, but don't tell them.
Well, we do tell them because they are, in effect, I mean, you're the coordinating producer. Yeah, I'm the executive producer. But in effect, they are all producers because
Absolutely.
The Super FOSI, especially, are the ones that send us stories, story ideas, videos, photos, yada, yada, yada.
And information.
And we appreciate all of them, don't we?
Yes, indeed.
Joe Holtzman checking in from sunny Estes Park up in Colorado. Chris Fury lives 2 doors up my street. Darren Eager lives 2 doors up my street from Chris Fury, and we're featuring him thanks to Alistair's AAAA today. Sounds like a cool guy from what I saw in the video. Joe Cool, Delta, SF, AWSC. Okay? Mm-hmm. And there's Jekyll 125 checking in from London. Fritz Mueller down in Miami, Florida. People literally all over the globe, including Mary Jude Samansky. MJ is checking in from Philadelphia, PA. The city of brotherly love. Alan Long from Blusterly, northeastern Ohio, outside of Cleveland. Clay Embley down in Kentucky is today. He's always doing something while he's listening or watching the show.
Pouring a keel.
Pouring a keel.
too.
Christopher Gillingham and his beautiful wife Jane over in Leamington in the UK. Happy Tuesday and fair winds to all. Peter, I pronounce it German even though he's down in Geelong in Australia, Reckenberg. Welcome to you, Peter. And as we move forward here, that was the starting line. Let's talk about our upcoming show schedule. Julia, as the Brits would say, the schedule.
Schedule.
This Friday, no show. So 2 Fridays in a row were dark, but I'm traveling again. I'm going down to my beloved Balboa Yacht Club, where I'm also a member, and we have the It's Okay, Andy Rose and Co., Tom Purcell and the rest of that gang, Greg Newman. We have our annual Christmas party.
Yes.
This Friday night, we watch the lighted boat parade in Newport Beach, California, from their front dock.
Which is a great deal.
It's been going on for well over 100 years.
Yes.
It mimics what was the Rose Bowl, the Rose Parade.
Yeah.
And the floats in this boat parade. This is not like the one here in San Francisco Bay, the lighted boat parade, which is a couple dozen boats that go by with colored lights up their rigs.
Yeah.
These are floats that look like something that Disney produced.
Absolutely, I know.
And it goes on in Newport Beach Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I think this whole coming week, Wednesday through Sunday.
Yes. Spectacular.
So, can't miss that. Go down and see our friends in Newport Beach. So no show this Friday, as I'll be traveling down there. But next week, to make up for it, we're doing 3 shows.
Yep.
Tuesday, Thursday, which is Christmas night our time. It's Boxing Day down under because, of course, that will be and our Friday show, our regular Friday show, which we will catch up on the goings-on during the Sydney-Hobart race. But we'll do our usual watch party, the Rolex Sydney to Hobart Yacht Race Watch Party for the start, which will be at our time, Christmas night, 17:30 Pacific, which is 01:30 in Europe, 01:30 on their Boxing Day on the 26th, UTC. And then, of course, that's the middle of the day down under in Australia when that race starts, and on live television, and Peter Shipway and others who will be doing the commentary once again on one of their national networks. I'm not sure which one. New Year's week, Julia.
Yes.
We'll do our regular Tuesday and Friday shows. And I guess we'll celebrate New Year's Eve a day or two early, since it's New Year's Eve is Wednesday night, right? New Year's Day is Thursday.
Yeah.
So we'll do our New Year's Eve show on Tuesday, our regular Tuesday show. The week after next, right?
Yep.
Okay, so that's our schedule. That's our schedule. Thank you all for joining us as always, and to the notes from down under and elsewhere. It was such an uplifting event, as Magnus and others will tell you, at New York Yacht Club last week when Claire was inducted. It was really a coronation. I mean, it was a huge turnout. And we've got interviews with Claire and others, but it was just a fantastic occasion. And then to fly back here Friday with the University of Michigan, my alma mater's, what an ugly, fugly mess at the University of Michigan and the coaching.
After all
that pales by comparison to what then went on at Brown University.
Yes.
Which is just up, it's just up the street from Newport, Rhode Island. It's up in Providence, and a lot of us know Brown. I used to, coach, referee their hockey games, and a lot of sailors. They've got a great collegiate sailing team there, and yada yada. And that ugliness at Brown, and then I wake up early Sunday morning to see what is the latest at the Brown University, only to learn about this massacre at Bondi Beach in Australia, and all of us, the FOSI were all sharing on the Super FOSI thread and beyond. Just what an awful weekend
it was.
It was.
So can't get any worse, but it kept getting worse.
Well, let's all lift our spirits. But just apropos all of that madness, this came from Dolly DeVola. He says, we were on our deck viewing this beautiful sunset over, and I think it's called Garigal National Park, behind our home, while complete chaos was happening on the other side of the harbor in Bondi. We are shocked and saddened that this has happened in our city. A very dark day for all of us here, obviously down under in Sydney and in Australia. This is not the Australia I grew up in and love. And that from Andrew, a.k.a. Dolly DeVola in Australia. And I just thought, Julie, we should kick the show off with his beautiful sentiments.
Yes. That's true of every Australian I know.
Well, all of us just are, I'm sure this weekend was just awful for everybody. It didn't matter where in the world you were, and to say nothing of some of the stuff that's having now to get canceled in Europe, in Paris and Germany and so on, Christmas markets.
Far East,
and so on. Ted Ryman checking in from Cape Town. Alan Long agreeing what a tragedy that was at J. Frederick Bland. Can't help. Congrats to your Navy team, J. Frederick Bland, for winning the college football game against Army over the weekend before. Or was that this weekend? That was this Saturday. That was one small, nice note that that Navy beat Army.
Yes.
Oh, man. The lighting in the studio has a wintry, cool feeling, Baton Rouge says. Is that right? Do we feel cool in here today?
I guess so.
Part of it is the ambient light. I leave the blinds open a little bit just to give us some natural light, because I work in here from 7 in the morning till 10 or 11 at night most days, and I get so tired of twisting the blinds closed.
Right.
So, and there's sort of cloudy today, so that's why I think you're seeing that. Hello, Picato 555, Miguel from Porto in Portugal. Nice windy day today. We're going to celebrate the World Youth Championships going on near you in Vila Moura down in the south of Portugal. Mary Longpree, I hope to see you maybe at the club this weekend, Mary. She's down in the foggy Newport Beach, where I'll be this weekend at Balboa Yacht Club and beyond. Navy did beat Army. A win it was a squeaker.
It was
1 point, wasn't it, Julia?
Yeah, yep.
Okay. Yeah, the perpetrator is still at large at Brown. I hate to say it, Chris, actually, but it feels a little bit like they've bungled that whole situation at Brown.
Yes.
And hopefully, let's say nothing more than that. I think Dolly DeVola's words, all of us,
right,
can empathize, sympathize, and beyond. Thanks, Andrew Dolly DeVola, for that. Julia, what are we celebrating today?
Hanukkah.
Indeed. It is the festival of lights, a time for family, delicious eats, and stories that remind of hope's enduring glow in the darkest of times.
Indeed.
The history of Hanukkah revolves around a tyrant king who was abusive to the Jewish people and destroyed their sacred temple in 167 BC. With the aim of getting the temple back, some rebels called the Maccabees revolted against the king, taking the city back and rebuilding their temple. I guess we all knew that. And the little twist here that's actually not even in the Old Testament. This is outside of the Testament. While the temple oil used to light the menorah should only have been enough for one day, it lasted fully 8 days, and this was celebrated as a miracle. This thread continues in today's observance of Hanukkah in the 8-day celebration and the lighting of the candles.
Yes.
So happy Hanukkah to all of you who celebrate it, all of you who have Jewish friends and are maybe celebrating it, and especially given what's gone on in Oz in Sydney over the weekend. I just thought that was completely appropriate.
Yes.
To mention that. As John Colling, speaking of Australia, checks in from Melbourne, good morning to you, where it's Wednesday morning down there. And Gordon Smith checking in, saying hi from Dinamarca, from Denmark. J. Frederick Bland said a friend of mine pulled his son home from Brown. Well, I guess they canceled all the finals. They canceled the tests, the rest of the classes and finals for the rest of the term.
Yeah.
And they'll hopefully recover over the holidays and be back at it early in the new year, but they haven't found the shooter. Apparently.
I wonder if they will.
Well, exactly.
By this time.
Photo of the day, another uplifting moment. The ETNZ, Emirates Team New Zealand, are hard at it in their AC-40s. They've got a couple of them out on the water, and this photo from our dear friend Richard Gladwell, ETNZ out training today, along with the Opti fleet from Wakateri, on the first day of the school holidays. So they're out for the holidays down there. Photo of the day for our show number 892, where it's summer down there, and put a few shrimp on the Barbie, all of you down there, and cheer up. This is a sad time, but we'll get through it one way or another, and especially together, celebrating our beloved and beautiful sport. Jekyll 125, Julia, is saying you have a great scarf on today.
Yes.
What's the genesis of that scarf?
I don't remember. I bought it in Europe, and it's the anchor chain, really, that is the genesis of it.
It is fantastic. Okay, by the way, Gladwell, Richard he's got now his own YouTube channel, a Sailing World New Zealand YouTube channel, and apropos this particular photo, he's actually got a video of them out charging around. Richard's
Good for
now,
him.
he's charged up his iPhone, and he's got a little package now so that he can do using his iPhone without having to carry around big bulky cameras and long lenses because, I mean, bloody hell, I shot the interviews you're going to see with Claire and the others in New York. I shot those Friday morning on my iPhone. Right. And Stu Struley brought his iPhone and was the B camera so we could get a close-up of Claire. And man, oh man, the iPhone camera, this is a new one. I went from iPhone 11 to iPhone 17. Mm-hmm. And this is not the 17 Pro or the Pro Max. It's just the plain old 17. Mm-hmm. And it's shooting, I have it set to shoot at, obviously at 1080. It'll shoot at 4K, but 1080, 60, 60 frames a second. And the video is frankly astonishing.
It is. It's getting better and better.
Some more cheery news. This, a Christmas card from His Majesty King Juan Carlos. Season's greetings to all the FOSI. Feliz Navidad and Feliz Año Nuevo for 2026. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for that card. Mm-hmm. And that gets us through the preliminaries here, Julia, and to a Bravo Zulu. We like to start the show, as you know, with a BZ.
Indeed.
A Bravo Zulu, well done in praise of performance, and World Sailing has gathered a huge throng of youth for the World Youth Sailing Championships, the Youth Worlds at Vila Moura, down in the south of Portugal. It started on the 13th, and it runs through the 20th, and they have 70-plus nations, 400-plus kids racing in an event that's been going on for more than a half a century. It's I was on this committee for 12 years at World Sail when it was IWRU and ISEF, and it's a great place to sail. Well, it is. They move around from Vila Moura to various places. I think the first one was actually way back in the 70s was in Montreal. I think the Canadians hosted it, but it's been all over the world, and it's a terrific event. It's been the pinnacle of youth sailing performance, providing the global stage for future sailing stars to shine and become a major stepping stone for many world and Olympic champions. It's where I met Russell Coutts. He was sailing in this event when he was a kid. Yeah. I was a judge. The Youth Sailing World Championships attracts the best youth sailors from around the world and follows a similar format to Olympic sailing, where all sailors compete on a level playing field across all events. In total, 11 events will be sailed in male, female, and mixed categories, with the events open to sailors aged above the age of 12, so 13 and up, and under the age of 19 by the 31st of this year, of the current year.
Yeah, that'll be great.
420 is one of the classes being sailed, and as I mentioned, 400 sailors from some 70 nations. There are 6 classes, the ILCA 6, the 420, 29er, NACRA 15, IQ Foil, and Formula Kite, but there are 11 divisions. So you've got male and female windsurfer and male and female kiteboarding and on down. So some are open, some are male open / then a female division, and then they have some separate male and female classes. Yeah, they do, as Picado 5, give us a name, Picado 555, remind us who you are. It's being transmitted. They have live television coverage. It's so-so. It's not the best live coverage we've seen, but it is being transmitted live on YouTube, on the World Sailing YouTube channel. Dolly DeVola agreeing it's a fantastic Youth Worlds in Australia with a team after not competing for some time, but the live stream and commentary is terrible. Very amateur for World Sailing. Dolly's being more direct than I was. It's not the best live coverage, but of course, Julie, as you know, Dolly does that live coverage of the 18-footer league in Sydney Harbor with Peter Shipway, and they are among, if not the best at what they do.
Energetic and accurate.
and out there on the water. We featured
Yes.
them a couple weeks ago, and it's the same thing we do at Gov Cup. We'll have a reunion of our Gov Cup TV team down at Balboa Yacht Club this weekend as well. And we like Miguel Lopez. Thank you, Miguel. It's Picado 555. But what a fantastic job they do. And there's Larry Kennedy saying, "Hola from the FIDI, the financial district in New York City. Congrats to Commodore Harrington." And Gordon Smith saying, "Better to spend time recognizing all our similarities and to work on shared respect than seeking to highlight divisions. Sailing welcomes all, regardless of differences." Well said, Gordon. And as my dad and I and Clark Chapin like to say, sailing is not for everybody. It's not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but it is for anybody.
Yeah.
And sailing's difficult. It's not for everybody because you got to be reasonably physically fit.
Yes.
You've got to be reasonably mentally agile, as my dad says. And if you are those two things and you're bright and enthusiastic and want to go out and challenge Mother Nature, go yacht racing, go sailing, go cruising.
Yeah.
It's not for everybody, but it is for anybody. Correct?
Correct.
Including this event that's going on, the Youth Worlds in Portugal. Here's the opening ceremony the other night.
Tonight marks the start of a very special week. Here in Vilamora, we welcome sailors from 67 nations. Among you, in the crowd, are 424 athletes, supported by 166 coaches, making this one of the most diverse youth sailing events in the whole world. What makes sailing unique is that it connects us, no matter where you come from in the world or what language you speak. The waves, the wind, no matter where we come from, they're all the same for all of us.
I mean, I love this video. It looks like the kids are having a blast.
Yeah.
Looks like a great opening ceremony. You saw the president of World Sailing there.
Quan Hai Lee.
Quan Hai Lee. Well done, Julia. At the top of that video. And now here's another video that I think you'll all find interesting, which was from day one, yesterday, day one's race day at the Youth Worlds.
I'm ahead of the game.
Welcome to the first day of the Youth Worlds. Today we finally have the first races.
And today we're hoping to have amazing conditions. We'll have southwest winds around 7 knots and maybe up to 10 knots.
I love Vilamora. We've come here with the Olympic team for past 15 years, I'd say. Because in Denmark during the winter it's snowing, it's freezing, the water is close to freezing over. So Vilamora is the Danish winter home, I would call it.
I'm looking forward to these races today.
We are really prepared for this weather, so I think they're going to do a great job today.
I hope a good win. I'm so excited to go in the water.
Very excited about today, and we hope that everything goes well.
Today is a pretty light wind, but we feel excited, we feel ready, and I feel like we're going to have a really good competitive fleet, but we're going to do the best we can in every condition.
I'm excited. It's the first day of racing, so it should be lots of fun.
Day one got off to a tricky start here at the Youth Sailing World Championships. A lack of wind meant an AP was posted for all classes early on, leaving sailors relaxing, waiting it out on the beach, in the boat parks, and around the food court. However, several fleets did make it onto the water. Ilka men and women, 420 men, 29er men, and NACRA 15 were all able to get racing underway. In the 29er men, 2 races were completed today. The opening race saw the German brothers Tizian and Julian Lembeck take a first brilliant win of the Youth Sailing World Championships. Race 2 belonged to the Polish Simon and Bartos, the reigning 2025 29er Eurocup champions, who now sit 3rd overall after 2 races. Giuseppe Montesano and Enrico Kosolovic. With a 7th place in race 1 and a strong 2nd in race 2, they hold the lowest overall score and lead the fleet by just 1 point ahead of Australia. France dominated in the NACRA 15. Marius Pro and Émilie Mansouri were the standout performers today. In second place are the Americans Dylan and Casey, and they are closely followed by the Belgians Lotte and Simon. In the ILCA class, both women and men completed one race each. The leader after day one in the ILCA male class is Alessandro Cinirei, and in the women's, it's Marina Murri. The 420 class only managed to finish one race, and Sviatoslav and Dmitro from Ukraine managed to take the win. Overall, it was a challenging day of racing, with light and unstable winds keeping everyone on their toes. The conditions weren't on our side today, but we're hoping for much more action tomorrow.
Well, I hope I don't get a copyright strike for that music. That's I think, a good, it's an annoying soundtrack, Rick Bannerell says, for sure. But, and I don't know, it sounds like commercial music. So if I get a copyright strike, well, so be it. Alistair Murray saying, so pleased Australia is participating again. Ben Nichols, I think World Sailing Youth Worlds is one of the best events on the calendar. It's without any peers. Ted Ryman agrees it looks like fun. The kids are loving it. The Utes.
Yeah.
The Utes. What's the name of that movie? Where the guy, the lawyer says to the judge, and he says, Utes, and the judge leans over in the movie. That was the guy who played Lurch, I think.
Is it Godfather?
No, Godfather, no.
No.
My uncle. My cousin.
My cousin.
My cousin Vinny.
Vinny, yeah.
Utes.
Yeah.
Utes. The Utes. Yeah, it's a terrific event. And as I said, having served on that World Sailing Committee for a number of years, for a dozen years, and chaired the jury, been on the jury back in the day, and meeting a lot of the kids who are the current stars in the sports came up, as several of you said, through the Youth World Championship. And by the way, they also have, and it's a good program, John Emmett talks about it and has been involved in it, called the Emerging Nations Program, the ENP.
Right.
And this is, I grabbed this video because I like the Emerging Nations Program and what World Sailing is doing.
Yes.
I wish they'd pour more money into that, and pour more coaching into that, people like Emmett, and not, here's, I just got Ben Nichols, you may have seen in the chat. He said, I'm going to send you a photo. And he said, I thought World Sailing was trying to direct funds where needed, not pimped up van for staff. I think these are the television commentators, and they're driving around in a fancy van. They probably required Villamore to supply these vans for the event. But yeah, it's always the problem with World Sailing, and those of you who've hosted World Sailing events or even meetings, World Sailing makes these humongous demands. We need X amount of hotel rooms. We need X amount of money. We need cars. And, they think they're FIFA or they think they're the IOC. You're not. You're World Sailing, and you ought to be on a budget and not going in there on a red carpet for yourselves.
Right.
And I agree with Ben Nichols. But it's great that this is a great event. It's great that it's hopefully going well. Today was day 2. We'll report on it next Tuesday, since we have no show Friday. We'll report on the final results on next Tuesday. Yeah. But now the Emerging Nations Program video, just a brief one that I thought you would all enjoy.
My name is Kyle Dujeran. I'm from Trinidad and Tobago. I'm part of the ENP program, which is for emerging nations, which don't have a big sailing program, but the goal is to develop sailing in those regions. So I'm here because of that. And we've been just getting used to the conditions. Every day has been like a different story. So I think it's been really helpful, and I've learned so much from it. One of my biggest problems is that I get flustered very easily. And what they've been telling me is to just slow things down, be calm, and work on your mindset, and all your techniques and everything else will start to flow. And I think that's one of the biggest things I've learned from that.
My name is Emily Gillard, and I'm representing Antigua. So we're in Portugal right now in Vila Moura, and today is the first day of racing at the Youth World Champs. It feels really, really good to know that I'm representing my country, and to know that I have so many people supporting me to be here at this event so many miles away from home. I want to give a shout out to my mom, my dad, my coaches, and all of my friends. I see tomorrow's going to be super windy. Pretty excited for how the week is going to turn out.
Hi, my name is Anna. I'm from Romania. It's been a very good week on very much practice with very good coaches. A lot of fun. My goals for this World Championship is to be in first 20, to have fun. Yeah.
You got to love it.
Yes.
Pour money into that. And
Yeah.
we formed, back in the day, we formed the Youth Sailing Trust. I hope that's still going on within World Sailing. And use that money for the ENP and for parasailing and so on, and not for vans, fancy vans for staff and moving officials around like they think they're the members of the IOC, Julia. These kids are great. Fantastic stuff. And
Yes.
yeah, I'm reminded now, he was not Lurch. Fred Gwynn in that movie, My Cousin Vinny, was Herman Munster in the television show.
Oh, yeah.
Fred Gwynn. And he was, as a judge, he was a great actor. And as the judge, he'd peer over and he'd probably have his little glasses like that, his reading glasses. What a fabulous movie. The Utes.
The Utes.
The Utes. What a fabulous movie. The best in the current crop of top sailors did Youth Worlds in the past. Yeah. Dolly DeVola, fully agree. And yeah, maybe it is our age. The music is a bit annoying. Mark Michelson, what's the venue? It's in Vila Moura, in the Algarve in the south of Portugal. Fred also played in Car 54. Where are you? Boy, Clark Chapin's got a memory, doesn't he?
Yeah.
What is a ute? Chris actually is asking. It's a, is it perversion the right word? It's just a mispronunciation of the word youth. And this Southern lawyer was saying, I'm a ute. I'm talking about the Utes, meaning the youths whom he was defending in that movie. A ute. And, of course, the Aussies, you know what a ute, it's a utility vehicle. In Australia, maybe New Zealand as well. A smallish truck with an open, I think, back. Is that right, everybody? A ute, you call it a ute, a utility truck, a utility vehicle. Yeah. Chris actually was quoting, what is a ute? He knows what it is. Chris actually does. He was quoting the judge, Fred Gwynn, in the face. He peers over the bench. He says, a ute? What is a ute?
Yeah.
Okay, carrying on here. Let's get to, it's a pickup truck, Alistair Murray says. In Australia, it's a pickup truck, we would say here. South Brooklyn. Thank you, Larry, who's up in New York City, South Brooklyn. We're going to get to Claire on the celebration of her rise.
Yeah, inauguration.
It was really a coronation. It was a huge turnout. It was fabulous. And Magnus was there.
Yeah.
And Gary Jobson, Dawn Riley, a lot of her, Chris and Sean Otorowski, lots of folks. And we interviewed them Friday morning. As I think you saw, I sent you the video so you could preview them. Mark Michelson, who's our weather guru here for Sailing Illustrated, looking light and variable in South Portugal until Friday when they get modest breeze from the north. Yeah, it's been pretty light so far, as you will have seen in those videos. Speaking of videos, we have a regular report from John Emmett in the coaching corner. John, every Tuesday and Friday, and even when we're dark, he's still putting things up on Sailing Illustrated.
Yes.
The reliable sort that he is. John Emmett's Coaching Corner with Super FOSI John Emmett for today.
Hi, Tom, Julia, and all the FOSI. Welcome to John Emmett's Coaching Corner. As always, any questions, please drop them in the comments. I'm going to try and watch the show live, so I can either answer them there or I can think about it and actually put them in the next Coaching Corner. Today's topic is going to be about pathway, and I just have to start off with a bravo Zulu to Claire, who's leading the way, and this inclusion topic is such a big thing, and I really think sailing is at the moment going onwards and upwards, and it's not just Claire. Lots of FOSI are doing lots of really good things, and we should definitely publicise that. But the pathway thing, it's something I think about a lot. Everyone knows I'm a huge fan of the squad system, and actually when I go to write it down, it seems very obvious. So perhaps the most obvious pathway for me is the single-handed, where people often start in a boat, and there's different classes available, but the boat like an optimist, where they get used to sailing in big fleets. You then transition to something like a Ilka, where you get that technique with the waves and the steering and the body kinetics. Then after this, we have something like the Finn, where it's actually becoming a little bit more like sailing a yacht in terms of you've got a lot more to do with boat setup. And dare I say it, there's a bigger strength requirement. And this is the thing which perhaps gets a misunderstanding, because I'm a huge fan of the Finn. I think it's a incredible boat and has a very, very important purpose. For my personal body weight, the equivalent would be the Euro. It's just with limited quota at the Olympic Games, I just feel in terms of accessibility, and that means lots of things, that the Ilka is a better fit, because you can only have one person's men and one person's women boat, and I think the Ilka is the better fit. But the Finn has done a fantastic job almost in the middle of the stepping stone. So you go, Oppie, Ilka, Finn, then on to small keel boats. So things like Stars, etc. And the Star League, as I said, is doing very well, very strong. And then from there we go to what I would affectionately call the big boats, which is probably above my pay grade, and it's a really wide spectrum of boats, and in that I include the Sail GP, the America's Cup, the offshore, or any keelboat racing, which is an incredibly important part of the sport. And again, shame it's not included in the Olympic Games, but we do have these quota difficulties, and that's just an example that springs to mind. We could go down the symmetrical spinnaker route, where you have a cadet 420, 470, 505 onto bigger symmetric boats. The more difficult one, I guess, is something along the lines of foiling, where people may actually start to wing, look at wasps, switches, moths, and then onto multi-crewed foiling boats. And I think that the line between foiling and non-foiling gets more and more similar. So when I look at the asymmetric pathway, which probably is along the lines of Fever, 29er, 49er, if we look at monohulls, actually something like a 505, which is symmetrical but has a huge kite, a huge spinnaker, almost sails those apparent wind angles now. But you have I think it's probably a masthead kite, but it's certainly huge. If anyone followed the event in Adelaide, and we've got an event coming up in Hayling Island, which I'm, being biased, I'm sure will be fantastic. But these pathways are so important, and it's progression of sailing skills as sailors get older, bigger, more experienced, and it's difficult sometimes if your mates grow faster than you and they transition, but people, I think, should sail what is the best boat for them. I mean, you can see I never got above Europe size, but I did try. But this pathway idea is incredibly important, and the Olympics, although it's incredibly close to my heart, is actually only one step along that way. And it got me thinking in terms of para. One of the things we have to do is develop a clear pathway. And as I said, I see the pinnacle of that being the Paralympics. And what we probably need to do in terms of the Paralympics is start running international events with the same format as you would for the Paralympic Games. So in other words, the World Championships, etc., becomes very similar to what the sailors would have at the Games. But yeah, so today's topic, pathway sailing. I think we're all sailors. There's something out there for everyone, and we need to throw the doors open to our local sailing clubs. I heard somebody say recently they didn't want any more members, and that made me sound very sad. That made me feel very sad, because I think as a sport, sailing, we're in competition with lots of other sports, so we want to make it as easy and accessible as possible. Part of that is your sailing heroes, to put out that top level media, to have sailing in the public space, but part of it at grassroots is just making it really easy for people to come along and have a go. And with that note, sail fast, sail safe, keep having fun, and comments especially welcome, because I think this is a topic I'm going to cover more of in 2026.
John Emmett, Coaching Corner. He's being the good son today, collecting his mom, to go do some Christmas things. It's
Good.
that time of year, Julia.
It is.
We're going to have a nice Christmas dinner here.
Yes.
On Christmas Day. Our dear friend Arlene Hines is going to come over. And we will look at some Christmas cards that we're getting. FOSIs are sending in Christmas cards, including David James, who's in the chat. David, thank you for your nice card.
Yeah.
He said the nice thing about the Mum 36 Far 40 was that a new owner could come in and there was a huge market of excellent secondhand sales, well, also boats and masts to get up the learning curve.
Yes.
Good report, John. Thanks, Ted Ryman is saying, and we echo that as well as John's sentiment about Brisbane 2032 and the Aussies leading the way. And after that very successful event in Oman last week for World Sailing.
That must have helped that.
I hope so. One can only hope, Julia.
I'm sure somebody was watching, right?
We hope, the IPC, the International Paralympic Committee, but we are pushing hard. We hope you're also supporting this to get sailing back in the Paralympic Games, at least as a demonstration event in Brisbane 2032, if not as a regular event going forward in those games. Okay, our big feature today, and what, again, Clark agreed when I used the word elevation when Julia, when Claire was elevated up to being Commodore of New York Yacht Club at the annual general meeting last Thursday night in New York City, and I flew on. I'm too old to fly red eyes. I'm not doing that again.
I'm glad.
I swear to God.
I'm glad. You should.
My back was a wreck. I was a mess when I got there Thursday morning.
You were cross-eyed when you got there.
I recovered. Chris Odorowski's in the chat. Chris, good afternoon. Tom and Julia he's in Newport. They were there for Thursday night and Friday morning. You'll see him in the interview here in a moment. Chris and his fantastic wife, Sean, saying good afternoon. Chris of Super FOSI as well.
From the frozen Northeast.
Well, he's in Newport. He left New York City, and rather than going back to Seattle, he went up to Newport where they have a home. In fact, I think he and Sean, the Odorowskis, the Ottos as they're known, have one of the oldest homes in Newport. It's something like 300 years old.
Wow.
It's a really old house. It got moved from one part of the city to another to preserve it, in fact. And he has a bar called the Mermaid Bar. They have a bar called the Mermaid Bar.
Yeah, somebody else was telling me about
and
that.
Otto, I can tell you that he asked if it's possible for him. He's a member of the Beach Street Yacht Club.
Oh, yes.
He and Sean. And I'm going to, I've asked Meg to prepare burgees for them.
Oh, good.
For the Mermaid Bar at Chateau Otto, the Odorowski's home.
Yeah.
So let's get into this thing with Claire, because this was an amazing evening, by all accounts, at 44th Street, 37 West 44th Street, the New York Yacht Club, next to the Sofitel there, and down the street from the famous old Algonquin Hotel. And by the way, this building, you probably know, Julia, right next door is the Harvard Club. So it's Club Row, and there's several other clubs there on the street, on 44th Street, either side of Fifth Avenue. So it's an auspicious place in the world. And people ask, well, why is New York Yacht Club's first and main clubhouse landlocked in the middle of Manhattan? Because it's about equidistant from the East River to the Hudson River. It's right in the middle of Manhattan, right in Midtown, a couple blocks from Times Square.
That's well positioned. Well, right in the middle.
But they found some property, that video I played the other day, in 1901, the clubhouse was built, and it is magnificent, as is Magnus's report that he put up on his Rule 69 blog on Friday morning following this amazing event Thursday night. He called it the hinge of history. Sailing is into a new era of equality and optimism. Magical, I got to stop.
Yeah.
Magic, of course, is the name of Claire's boat, her 70-footer.
Right.
And, of course, it was the name of the
American Magic.
First, American Magic, because America was the first American boat in the America's Cup, and then Magic was the second defender in 1870. So magical was a very clever choice of turn of phrase by Magnus the Magnificent. Magical doesn't quite do justice to the scene last night, Thursday night, at the New York Yacht Club on West 44th Street for the annual meeting, and Diener, a collection of some of the finest ever to sail, cruise, powerboat, or be interested in the maritime complex, came together as one to see history in the making. It was a pinch yourself to believe it moment in our sport, a hinge of history that resonated far and wider than the Beaux Arts walls of the most storied and famous yacht club in the world, a stoic beacon of progression and advancement, and I would add the word tradition, in our sport. Magnus goes on to say that with Clare Harrington stepping up to Commodore from Vice, she received the Burgee, the Commodore's flag, and took on the mantle as the ultimate and timely leader of the most powerful entity in sailing. December 11th changed everything and sent a powerful progressive signal right across sailing. The right person at the right time has been elected, and for all of us striving for equality and inclusion in sailing from the very grassroots to the pinnacle elite end, it's a marker in the art of the possible. All credit to the outgoing Commodore Jay Cross and the Board of Trustees at the New York Yacht Club. This felt so right, and judging by the applause at the annual meeting, Claire's is a very popular appointment.
I keep wanting to say, remember, she was elected.
Elected, indeed. I mean, if the nominating committee puts the name up, and if somebody wants to run against the nominating committee's nomination, they can. But the thing everybody recognizes about Clare, and it was said over and over and over again, is that, and I'll say it in one of these videos that I'm about to show you, this was not a we got to have a woman and it's time to have a woman. It was about let's look around the club and see who is the most competent person available to run up the flags and ultimately be Commodore. And after being race committee chairman for, I think,
10 years,
it was a long stint as race committee chairman at New York, first female, but nonetheless, long-time race committee chair. She had also been Commodore at the esteemed Edgartown Yacht Club out on Nantucket, which is Martha's Vineyard, which is a bit of a deal.
Yes.
I mean, being a Commodore of another major yacht club in the Northeast. So it was quite an occasion, and as you'll hear again in these videos, the interviews that we did, it was a huge turnout. I've been to a lot of these annual meetings over the years when I was a member for 40 years, and I've never seen one with this big a turnout, indeed with so many past Commodores, or what on the West Coast we call staff Commodores, but virtually every past Commodore save two were there, and one of them was trying to get there but had a plane or a car or some kind of a problem, traffic problem, which is an astonishing thing in its own right. Magnus was right at the center because he had been elected a member that afternoon. He'd gone through the membership process, and despite my best efforts to keep him out, and of course I have no standing in New York anymore, Julia.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. Of course I didn't. But he has a brand new New York Yacht Club tie-on as a result of having been elected a member that afternoon, Thursday afternoon. Gary Jobson, Stephen Suchia, Randy Medrano, all the past Commodores such as Dyer Jones and Jory Hinman and on and on. It was just a fabulous occasion. And there, of course, is our FOSIs, Claire Magnus and Gary Jobson, at breakfast on Friday morning. We had a big breakfast the next morning, and a lot of people filtered in. Friday morning after breakfast, we went up to the afterguard room, and I was to sit with Claire and interview her first interview, official or otherwise, after assuming the Commodore ship. And not only that, but a lot of people wanted to come up and watch. So some people filtered up to the afterguard room, and then I took the opportunity to go around the room with my iPhone and interview some of these FOSI, Super FOSI, and just plain VIPs, cool people who were assembled. And here is that first half of that video. We're in the afterguard room here at the beautiful, historic New York Yacht Club, built in 1901. We're getting ready to interview Commodore Harrington here in a moment, but we've got some VIPs around the room, including my dear old friend from Michigan, fellow Michigander, Dawn Riley.
Hello.
Dawn, a longtime member of New York. What did you think last night? Linda Lindquist, another Michigander. What did you think last night when you saw it?
It was gorgeous. I'm not that long time member of the New York Yacht Club. It's rather recent since I moved to Oyster Bay with Oak Cliff. But I do come to the annual meetings, and last night was by far the most inspirational and the most packed, like by 4 times as many people. The biggest annual meeting, because most of the time it's financials and a little bit of ceremony, and last night was historic.
Why is it historic? What do you think the implications are for New York electing their first female Commodore?
I'm sure the Clare's going to get really tired of that question over the next 2 years, but you don't realize until it actually happens that it does mean something. There were people like the Commodore and First Lady of Sewanaka came in specifically to be here to see it. So it was important.
Magnus the Magnificent, who's here, he flew in from London just for the occasion.
Yep, everybody who was anybody was here.
And apparently, Claire, is it true it was the largest number of staff Commodores at an AGM?
By a factor of 2, at least, yes.
It was fantastic. Linda Lindquist, another pioneer in women's sailing, but in sailing in general, one of the great sailors, born in Leland, Michigan. Born?
No, Chicago. 5th generation Leland.
But living in Leland, Michigan, which is just a stone's throw from where my mother was born in Michigan, Northport, Michigan.
We might be related, Tom. That stopped it.
Silence.
That is a scary concept. What'd you think last night?
I thought it was incredible on many levels. I thought, it speaks miles to the club, the level of not only professional, but deeply relational, positive transition between Commodore Cross and Commodore Harrington. I spoke to so many women last night that were inspired. They were inspired for themselves. They were inspired for their daughters. They could see what was possible. And it took everyone to make that happen. The men of many generations, the leaders we've had, and we're so grateful to have this next chapter.
Linda, you have a big new role under Commodore Harrington, arguably the most important role in the club, perhaps, aside from race committee and one or two other the big committees. You got a big job.
Well, it takes all of us, Tom, as you know, and I'm just grateful to be able to do my part. I've had a little bit of experience in the area, and I'm excited what we can.
We've done America's Cup campaigns together where you did the job.
Yes, we have. It's a long history, Tom.
And what is the job?
I'll be head of sponsor partnerships here at the club, and we're really excited to foster a new era of bringing some good relationships into the club to tell our stories. And the one we're most excited about right now is the Women's International Championship that we'll have here in September.
Next summer.
Yep, and we're going to have 14 countries of the most elite women sailors in the world competing for the very first time in big keelboats in our IC-37s, and the whole world's talking about it. It's really exciting.
Linda, the club has just re-signed arguably the best sponsor in the history of the sport, Rolex, to a 10-year deal. How good is that?
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, as you know, New York Yacht Club has a tremendous partnership history with Rolex. They're an incredible sponsor of our sport and others, but we're especially thrilled to have them on board. Having this 10-year relationship allows both Rolex and New York Yacht Club to develop very valuable partnerships that serve sailors and members and all our stakeholders.
Congratulations. You got a big job ahead of you. Good luck.
Oh, thank you, Tom. Great to see you.
How about the gentleman to your right? Speaking of people who know about what's going on in the sport, Magnus the Magnificent, we call him, Magnus Wheatley from Great Britain. And my God, that's a new tie.
Yeah, it's a new tie, Tom. Yeah.
New York Yacht Club tie.
You've got to get one.
Yeah, well, the Commodore has put me under some pressure about that, rejoining after being a member for, 40 years. Magnus, congratulations. You were elected to membership by the trustees yesterday afternoon. Did you buy the tie before or after the meeting?
Steve Toscaya got it for me, so I can't claim that I bought the tie. So.
What'd you think last night?
It was sensational. I'm just trying to put it into some kind of context of what it means, not just for the club, but for the wider sport of sailing. And I think for every young girl looking up into the sport saying, is this sport for me? Well, it's a huge signal saying, yes, this is an inclusive sport, it's an equitable sport, and it's a huge moment for sailing. I was so proud to witness it. And the reaction from a huge crowd was just absolutely sensational. The massive round of applause, even so much that Claire said.
Two standing O's.
Yeah, Claire was saying, what are they serving?
Two standing ovations, right?
Yeah, what are they serving at the bar? And Yeah, it was sensational. But I think it was a real moment for our sport, and it was a moment for gender equality, and having the first female Commodore of the New York Yacht Club is just a massive, massive signal that our sport is changed, and on the up.
Magnus, you're the author, the prolific writer, maybe the most prolific writer in the sport today, taking over for the late great Bob Fisher, in fact. And you have the Rule 69 blog on Substack. You wrote about this at last night's annual general meeting in the election of Clare Harrington. Yesterday on your blog. What's the topic today?
Hinge of history.
Hinge
of history.
Wow.
As in, it's the moment that our sport changed, and it's changed forever now, and it's
because of last night.
Because of last night, and it's a massive, massive thing for the sport, and it's a massive thing for the club, and I'm just so delighted to have witnessed it. It was worth 3 hours in the queue at JFK. Just
the queue at JFK getting in here, huh? Well, they know bad people, you know. We're getting better at keeping bad people out of the country.
Can we make a request to Trump to put more than one customs officer on? Just maybe two?
The RORC has for the first time Deb Fisher, who's
Deb Fish.
Is it Commodore?
Yes.
It's Commodore.
Yes. And also the Admiral.
The Admiral.
Janet Grosvenor.
Janet Grosvenor, who used to supply a guitar for me when we'd do our sing-alongs back in the day at the Rourke. Two great people, the Admiral's Cup.
Yeah.
The sports in the UK, the sport's booming.
It really is. And at every level, from grassroots upwards, we are seeing increased participation. We're seeing more people coming into the sport, more people trying the sport. And then we're also seeing the Sail GP team, all conquering Sail GP team, which was a fantastic win a couple of weekends ago. And yeah, sailing is really booming. The Admiral's Cup is set for a massive return in 2027. I think it'll be twice the size of what this year's event was, which was fantastic. And yeah, I'm really, really buoyed by what we're seeing. And you're also seeing people like Hattie Rogers coming through, Hannah Mills coming through, and also our parasailers are the best in the world. Murray McDonald just winning the ILCA Sixes at the Inclusion Games. Lucy Hodges winning in the mixed impairment or the impairment division. We've got some really good sailors, and I see it at a local level. I see it at grassroots level. Very, very good sailors coming through all the way across.
And good leadership. I mean, our good friend, Mr. Dr. Andrew McIrvin, who's...
that guy.
He's not only heading up the steering committee again for the Admiral's Cup, correct, Claire?
That is correct.
And he's also now chairman of the IRC committee.
Yeah. Andrew is first-class administrator, first-class person, and all roads lead to Andrew in British yachting at the moment. And the job he does is phenomenal, and you put him in charge of IRC, you'll see that flourish. You saw what he did with the Maxis, you'll see he's a squadron member, but he's just absolutely terrific, and he's pushing the sport forward in all the right ways. I can't be too nice to him because, it's Andrew, but he is doing a very good job.
Who was singing his praises last night? On the other side of Claire at her table was Hap Fouth, patron saint of the American Magic, one of the patron saints, along with Doug DeVos, and he was singing Mr. Doctor.
Quite right too. Yeah, he is that good.
Praises.
He is that good, and as an administrator in our sport goes, and somebody who really gets it, really understands it, and really understands. He's a racing sailor at heart, and these are the people we need in positions of power in our sport.
Exactly. That's part one of just the roundtable discussion. Now, again, they didn't know I was going to even go around the table. They had an idea.
You probably didn't either.
Well, I did. No, I had been laying in bed thinking, how am I going to do this? How am I going to pull this off? I had some idea who would be there, but not. I didn't know for sure who would be there and who wouldn't be there. But the idea to go around and interview people off the cuff, no script, no notice.
Right.
How articulate, how bright, how cool.
They all are.
And it gets even better from here. I mean, Magnus is always bright and glib, and I see in the chat, somebody asked, who was it? It was Baton Rouge or something. Well, Baton Ken in Baton Rouge, a.k.a. Baton Rouge. Does Magnus write an article in the moment like a sports reporter, or does he stew on ideas and then produce an article? I can't speak for him. You'd have to ask him. But I think you will find that he does a little of both, that sometimes he's been thinking probably about what he was going to write on Friday after the Thursday night thing, but then inspired by the moment. And you can see how articulate he is, and to say nothing of
Yes.
Linda and Dawn. And you'll see in a moment when I interview Claire how astonishingly facile her brain is as well. So as I said, that's just part one of this video. And I continue to go around the room because there are more cool people in the room for the occasion. Have a look. And the first admiral of a club that I knew long ago, admiral of the Seattle Yacht Club, the spousal of the past Commodore, Sean Odorowski, and her husband, Chris, known as the Ottos. Nice to see you.
Good morning.
What'd you think last night?
Spectacular. I think it was 3 standing ovations, to be correct, because some of us women were counting. We're known for doing that. It's well-deserved. It is an honor to be part of that celebration and to have Claire as a friend. We're all very lucky.
You've known Claire a long time.
We've known Claire for
Is she
quite a
going
while.
to be a good Commodore, do you think?
Spectacular. I sincerely mean that, right? She went through all of the steps to get there. She earned her way there.
She's not a DEI hire, is she?
No,
She's competent.
No, she is not DEI.
This is competence.
No, she earned it. Absolutely.
No, seriously.
And that spoke to the past Commodores who were there last night, right? They spoke to it. That's what they were saying.
That
there.
was the electricity last night, wasn't it? That was the ambiance, because they know she's competent.
Absolutely.
Not just a pretty face. Right, Claire? We'll get to her in a minute. We'll wrap up with her. Otto, thank you very much, Sean.
And it's
Sean
Admiralette,
Odorowski.
to be precise.
Admiral what?
It was feminized, and it's actually a fictitious name. Admiralette.
Let. I don't
As
know.
opposed to Admiral, I know.
Otto, you were Commodore of the Seattle Yacht Club. You're past president of the Cruising Club of America, and your better half has been a leader in the sport as well. What did you think last night?
It was pretty fabulous. We were lucky enough to help Claire hoist her rear Commodore Burgee back in 2022.
I wasn't sure what you were going to say. You were lucky enough to hoist her rear, and then you paused. What was that? What was that all about?
Well, maybe that too. I don't know. No, and she has done a beautiful job, first of all, as race committee chair for a long time, and then in the last 4 years. It's been amazing. The club is very proud of her, and it's going to be a thrilling couple years ahead.
You're headed up to Newport now, the big party tonight, Friday night at Harbor Court, and then you have the CCA station.
We have the Narragansett Bay Post CCA station event at our house in Newport tomorrow. So
Chris, we haven't talked briefly. Tell us what you did in Monaco a few weeks ago. Amazing presentations with His Serene Highness in the house at the Yacht Club de Monaco.
At Monaco, so this was a joint cruise, a New York Yacht Club cruise and the Royal Thames Yacht Club. And so we cruised Sardinia all the way up to Monaco. And so in Monaco, I presented a trophy on behalf of the Cruising Club of America. And the trophy was for excellence in cruising. And it was a trophy that was made in 1773, which was 2 years before the Cumberland fleet gathered together for the first time. And so it was quite the event. I gave a little history of the trophy, which actually had come from royalty back in the 1700s. And it was received quickly and filled quickly with several bottles of champagne over the next 3 hours. We finally all had to bail out at 3 a.m. out of the yacht.
And then you went to Stars and Bars or one of those other bars in Monaco.
No, we went to the boat.
Commodore Chris Odorowski, longtime friend. We nearly share the same birth date, 4 days apart, right, Commodore?
That's right. It's a good week.
A good week. Bob Schmetter is here, longtime friend, longtime New York Yacht Club member. Would you want to say anything about what went on last night with Commodore Harrington?
No, I think Magnus got it. This is an extraordinary change, obviously for the club, but frankly for the sport. and is just extraordinary. And I was fortunate enough to know Claire. We were both freshmen on the board of this club together. I don't know how many years ago it is now, and got to know each other. And I chaired the communications for the club for a number of years. And I have to say that this Commodore is just an exciting, extraordinary, and interesting times that we're going to see coming forward. I would not only guess for that, I would guarantee it's going to be that. And not easy to fit a lot of historic places, but this is one for sure coming.
Did you hire Stu Struley?
No, no one did. He actually appeared on himself a really long time ago. But
after Michael Levitt.
Yeah, exactly. But Stuart's just, he's amazing at what he does as well. But we worked together for 6 or 7 years and enjoyed all of that together. And he still does that really well. And really terrific and wonderful.
Is it true Claire is going to start a podcast, the New York Yacht Club podcast?
I think one of the things we learned about Claire is she keeps secrets more than anyone I've ever known. So, the secret last night was who was going to become
Fleet Captain.
Fleet Captain.
Yes.
And I learned today she's known that now for 6 years?
4 years.
4 years, okay? And no one in the club knew this until last night. I don't know that that's ever happened in history. So whatever is going to happen with a podcast or any other thing, frankly, will be kept a secret.
We won't know about it until
time, right?
after it happens.
Yeah.
Okay. Bob Schmetter, thank you, sir. Nice to see you. Stu, anything to add to all that?
No, I'm just here to help you out, Tom.
You are. You brought the lights. You brought a camera, a B camera. We appreciate the great job you do, and I mean that sincerely. And I see comms from a lot of clubs, as you can imagine. And you're a star.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you. Okay, so there, Stuart True, we're having a fist bump with Stuart. And Bob Schmetter is absolutely right. Claire won't tell me, I don't pry. Well, not too much. Not too much.
You try.
But she is so discreet and so good at keeping secrets. Mm-hmm. And it was the same as you saw from Bob Schmetter, who said nobody knew who the fleet, and apparently it's a big deal for the fleet captain to be known in advance because they plan this cruise and a lot of stuff, and they're kind of the Commodore's right-hand person in a lot of ways. So again, all those people, and ending with Stuart Struley, who was a big help, thanks again, Stu, who's the comms director at the club, has been for, 12, 15 years, long time. Mm-hmm. Just filtered up there to the afterguard room when they heard that I was going to sit with Claire, which I'll show you that interview now. And without any script, without any preparation, without any at all, I turned the camera on and went around the room, and bright, articulate people. And Claire, Julia, I might add, there was a bit of dust in the air, as you can imagine.
I know. Late night.
There had been a late night, and Alistair Murray, nice job with that great group, and they are indeed a great group. And then I had the great pleasure, as you know, of sitting down next to Claire then, with all of those folks watching and applauding and so on, sitting with Claire for about 9 minutes, asking her about the future of the club under her leadership. And here's that interview. Commodore Clare Harrington, newly elected Commodore last night at the annual general meeting, the AGM of New York Yacht Club here at 44th Street in Midtown Manhattan. How's it feel the morning after?
It's pretty amazing. Feels good. Feels good.
What was the first complaint you had this morning at dark 30?
I emerged from my room, met by a member who started complaining about noise in their room from the heating system. I said, I'm on it.
You're on it.
My first task.
Huge turnout last night.
Yes.
Largest number of staff Commodores apparently present for an AGM in living memory.
That's correct, yes.
And two, maybe three, arguably three standing O's. I mean, the one standing ovation, every Commodore gets one standing ovation, but you got two more.
It was quite humbling, honestly.
Were you surprised?
I was. I really was. As I said, I don't know what Jim was serving at the bar last night to make that, to have that reaction, but it was a little startling, actually. I was not expecting that, quite that enthusiastic.
You gave everybody, forget about what I think, everybody said it was a terrific speech. Terrific talk. It was brief. It was, as the Brits would say, it was short. Magnus would say it was short and sharp talk. And I timed the amount of time you spent talking about what everybody is thinking, which is you're the first female Commodore in the history, the long and storied history of New York. And you spent only a minute, 20 seconds on that point. Did you weigh, were you back and forth on how much time and whether even to mention that?
Well, I did think a lot about that. I mean, I've been thinking about this, about my remarks for last night for quite a long time, as you can imagine, because I knew it was my intro to my watch as Commodore. And as much as I recognize that it's kind of a thing, I didn't want to make it into a thing. I have never at any point, all during my time as a trustee, race chairman, and then on to the flag officer chain, never at one time did I ever feel that I was in that position because I was a woman. I knew that I had the support and the trust and the confidence of the people who put me in those positions. So it was never really, it was never really on my radar. It was never really part of the package. But obviously, I did decide at some point more recently that this might be something that I should at least make mention of, because obviously a lot of people feel very strongly about this being a significant event in the history of the club, which is why I presented it as I did, which was to say I didn't want to make it about me. It was more about the foresight and the vision that the former Commodores and the nominating committee had for this club, and that they had the courage and vision to make this nomination. So it just happened to fall to me, and obviously I'm tremendously honored. And there's only one first, right? So it is significant. And I wanted to not, as I say, not make it about me, but about what it means for the club.
What's the club look like going forward under your leadership?
Well, I have to say, Jay Cross, brilliant man, very capable, very, very smart about all things infrastructure. He's done a magnificent job with some of the renovations in this club, both in this clubhouse at 44th Street as well as Harbor Court. I am inheriting a facility and, as I say, infrastructure that is in magnificent shape.
Second to none.
Second to none, absolutely. And as was mentioned several times last night, we all feel a very strong responsibility to maintain these magnificent places. But it's not just about the buildings. And so, as I say, I'm inheriting an infrastructure that's in great shape, very proud of that. And then, as we go forward, my focus is going to be on member experience. I'm very focused on opportunities for members to engage in the activities of the club, to provide first-rate events and opportunities for the membership. And also, I know that I have a responsibility in leadership and moving forward in all things sailing, both at the New York Yacht Club and beyond. I mean, we all know that this club is the fiber and the DNA of this club is the America's Cup. So I'm very cognizant of that, and I know that there will be more developments as we go along, for sure. So that's going to fall in my lap. But anyone who knows me well knows that I don't make decisions in a vacuum. I talk to as many people as I can, people who are knowledgeable and experienced, but at some point, obviously, I do have to make some decisions, and that's how I will I'll reign, so to speak. That will be the signpost of my watch.
The energy was palpable from when I got here yesterday morning, all through the day, through the evening, obviously, and again this morning in the breakfast room just now, down in the grill room, we had breakfast, and everybody is in a celebratory, excitable mode even.
Yeah.
How do you build on that?
Well, I hope it doesn't deteriorate. I will just try to keep doing what I've been doing for the last 4 years and try to be, present to the membership of this club. I feel it's vitally important to be the front door, so to speak, the face of the club, and I try to be as present as I can. And I think that's a lot. I think that people really appreciate that. I know that it has been brought to me on many occasions that they appreciate that. They feel that I'm approachable and that I'm there and I do listen, and that's my mode of operation.
Modus operandi.
Modus operandi, yes.
Claire, you had a guest at your table last night. A couple of croutons.
I had a few guests.
You had a couple of croutons, but a lot of VIPs at your table last night.
Yeah.
The crouton in chief was there at your table. But I also noticed that last year's Sailing Illustrated Person of the Year, Cole Brower, was there.
Yeah.
Did you talk to her? Did you have time to talk to her?
I did. We talked a fair amount. And,
there was nobody more jazzed up than her last night.
I know. She was very excited. She said she would not miss it. And I was honored to have her there at my table. And, she's a superstar in the sailing world, as you know. But, everyone there last night was just so welcoming, so excited and joyful. And the positive energy was just, as you say, palpable. It was thrilling, just thrilling. Exhausting, but thrilling.
Well, congratulations. Any final thoughts?
Well, as I've said to so many people, just the turnout last night and the number of former Commodores who were there to make sure that, they were present to this moment. And people like you who came from the West Coast, from the Odorovskis who came from the West Coast, Smederers who came from Florida, Magnus the Magnificent came all the way from the UK.
He gets the long distance.
Yeah,
award,
he gets
especially having spent 3 hours going through customs and
immigration. Exactly. That is above all what means the most to me. That you all took the time and the energy and the resources and the patience to be here with me last night. I mean that means more to me than anything. For
Great.
sure.
Congratulations. And we're so looking forward to the next 2 years.
2 years.
2 years.
Then I drop off the face of the earth, right?
I doubt that. Commodore, thanks very much.
Thank you, Tom.
Every club should have at least a 2-year term for their Commodore. We need to pass that message through to our friends here at St. Francis.
But you don't spend the money, and it costs them twice as much.
To what?
Become
well, okay, but there are a lot of people who can afford to be Commodore. But the point is, at these one-year Commodore ships, you're a lame duck before you get going. You have about 2-3 months, and you by the time you get your feet under you, you're out.
Take your responsibilities in each.
Okay, well, you don't agree with me, I know, but what a lot of dignity and grace, humility,
fabulous,
huh?
Fabulous,
and I think every. Claire, this Rick Banro is saying, Clare Gracious Harrington. She is great. But I'll tell you what, she's tough and she's firm. And I've seen her even in the last the 2 days I was with her there on Thursday and Friday morning. She also doesn't take any shiza. And I think every Commodore, incoming Commodore or prospective Commodore, ought to watch that interview.
Yes.
With the crouton in chief, but watch that interview with her to see how she carries herself, how she expresses herself. And we could only be, our sport could only be better if we had more Commodores like what I think Claire is and is going to be. Corinthian Claire, Tom Fishbeck says. Yeah, Clark Chapin is saying it takes you a full year to figure out exactly what the job is, regardless of your prior experience within the organization. Yeah, and that's why, Julia, I keep saying I really think it's useful to have been Commodore of another club before you become Commodore of a big club like New York. And I think a 2-year term is still better. I know you.
And then you got to pay for it.
Well, yeah, it's it's not. Got to have some resources in order to do it for a year, let alone for 2 years.
That's correct.
Pedro Foiling Sailor, excellent interview, elegant, outstanding, humble. Elegant's another good word.
Yes.
And you, Julia, you picked up on the gold trim in her hair. That she did that herself when she showed up on Thursday.
Yeah.
She had this. It's gold. I'm not even sure. It looked more like bronze, actually. Very yachty. A little bronze, and I think you're going to see that. You'll start to see that in other people's hair going forward. It was a cool little thing. And so many comments on my Facebook pages and other about not only Claire and the elegance and the dignity and grace, but also how many other major clubs like Deb Fish at RORC. Alistair Murray saying Royal Sydney Yacht Club term is 4 years. Personally, I think 2 years is too short. 3 years is the sweet spot. Okay, Alistair thinks it should even be longer than I. Ted Ryman, thank you. It's fun to interview fun people, and again, with no script, with no pretense, with no expectations. But I tell you what, too, Julie, it's a relief knowing that I can edit it. Those were live to tape.
Yes.
I did no editing, except to edit between the two shot of Claire and myself and the single shot of Claire that was coming from Stu Struley's camera. And I just cut between those two cameras. Otherwise, those were both, around the room, were live to tape. And the interview with Claire was obviously live to tape. And I so much more appreciate the...
yes, it's so much better.
So much better, isn't it?
So much better. And you were... terrific. I shouldn't be saying that, but you were terrific.
You're too kind. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be dealing with people so smart and so cool, like Claire and all the rest. Now, that was Claire as we were leaving the club. She drove me out to JFK very kindly, but here she is now leaving the club. The Sofitel, we took that picture and I sent it to Hamish Ross because of the famous coffee that Hamish and I had during the 2010 legal contretemps.
Oh, yeah.
At the Sofitel Hotel next door. But the real purpose of that photo is to tell you now she is leaving. The first time she's left 44th Street as Commodore, but now she's going where? Driving the 4 hours up to 4 hours up to Harbor Court for the Christmas party there on Friday night. Mm-hmm. She is a whirlwind, nonstop, and I hope she doesn't get burned out because it's just an amazing undertaking for anybody. And there she was headed to 44th Street, headed from 44th Street up to Harbor Court. And by the way, if you ever see this car going up and down the Connecticut Turnpike, 37W44, she's got the address of 44th Street on her license plate. You don't think she's dedicated to the New York Yacht Club?
I don't think, I thought it was the 37th America's Cup.
That AC 37, AC 38. No, that's 37 West 44th Street. Mm-hmm. And that's the address. She is she's living, and she is going to be New York Yacht Club through and through. Mm-hmm. There she is, Commodore Harrington. Tom, you have done me a great honor by spending the time to feature my anointing on your awesome show. I am grateful to you and all the FOSI for your lovely comments. Claire, we are grateful to you for doing the interview. But my goodness, for all you are doing for our beloved sport, as are all the FOSI. I mean, we've got such a great group of people. And Steve Gruber, I wasn't going to say it, but I will. She did, in fact, drive me out to JFK so we could talk. It wasn't, I took an Uber in from Wednesday morning, but she lives out in Greenwich, and that's why it's a Connecticut plate, Steve Adkins. But we had a nice chat about senior serious stuff, too, the America's Cup and beyond on the way out. But then she was headed from JFK up to Newport, Rhode Island, which is a good, 3.5, 4 hour drive, depending upon the traffic. And then drove back the next day because she had stuff going on in town. Love the license plate. Yeah. Love Clare Harrington and all the rest of you who are such cool contributors to our beloved sport. Julia?
Sir?
What happened this day in history? The 16th of December, 1773.
73.
3 years before the Revolution. There's a clue.
The Tea Party.
It is the Tea Party. That is a litho by a gentleman named, a Brit actually, named W.D. Cooper. I thought the fact that he did the litho, a Brit, not an American, from 1789. This was done after the fact. Clark Chapin's got it. The Boston Tea Party. David James has got it. The Boston Tea Party, which, as most of you will know, was an act of protest on December 16, 1773, during the American Revolution, initiated by the Sons of Liberty in Boston, the capital of Massachusetts, at least at the time, one of the 13 colonies of British America. It escalated hostilities between Great Britain and the Patriots, who opposed British policy towards its American colonies. Less than 2 years later, in 1775, April of 1775, the battles of Lexington and Concord, also in Massachusetts, launched the eight-year American Revolutionary War, which resulted in the independence of the colonies as the United States. John Emmett's making a clever comment. Did somebody say tariffs? Yanks making the largest cup of tea in history. Well, and of course, they apparently dressed up as Native Americans, trying to make it look like it was the Indians, the local Indians that were doing it. And of course, that didn't fool anybody.
No.
So that's the Boston Tea Party. This day in history. And let's now move to another Super FOSI, another amazing contributor to our sport, past president of Australian sailing, Alistair Murray, with his regular submission known as Alistair's Awesome Aussie Anecdote, interviewing a good mate and friend and crew member of his. And they sailed together on the Tazar. The guy's name is Darren Eager. Did I pronounce that right, Alistair? Darren Eager or Egger, who is apparently a super sailor and a super contributor in our beloved sport. And here's Alistair's interview. Tazar Racing is the title there on that photo.
G'day, Tom, Julia, and all the FOSI. This is Alistair with AAAA.
AAA. What does that stand for?
Alistair's Awesome Aussie Anecdote for Sailing Illustrated.
That sounds awesome.
You'll get to love it. I'd like you to meet a good mate of mine, Darren Eager. G'day, Darren.
Alistair, always a pleasure.
So, Tom, as you know, and Julia, as you know, I like to introduce you to interesting people that I run across in my travels. I need to declare something with Daz. He's one of my best mates. We sailed together for years, and actually with this report, I'll submit a photo of us crossing the finishing line, the Tazar together. You know
that's my iPad photo.
Oh, fantastic shot!
I love that.
So very topical. The Inclusion Championships, World Championships in Oman.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The reason I thought I'd have a chat to Darren today is he's just been there, and I thought it'd be great to just hear what he thought about it. So, Daz, first, you're a serial volunteer. Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, and I've got this too, always. So you're a serial volunteer for sailing.
Serial? That sounds
a
bit dodgy.
So describe your volunteer experience, your what you do. How do you contribute to sailing?
Well, I'm a national judge, Australian national judge. I help out at our local yacht club and many other yacht clubs around the Melbourne
Sandringham Yacht
area.
Club?
Sandringham Yacht Club. So most of your activity is nearly always at your local clubs, backing them up as helping out with protests and those kinds of things, and rule seminars and developing new people coming through. Also help on a number of committees around the country with officiating, and part of the Race Rules Victoria group. And just generally helping the sport out when I can.
What are you doing in your spare time?
Good question. You can find me some.
Well, we cycle together.
We ride our bicycles. I muck about with cars, and actually, I still work.
Oh, work?
Yeah, work.
Dirty four-letter word.
Yeah, I know. Well, I tell my wife I work.
All right, Daz. So you've just been to the World Inclusion Championships in Oman.
I have indeed. I've had
How was it?
Privilege of being invited by World Sailing to go to Oman and be part of an awesome event. It's, for those of you who don't know, Oman, that's a nation that's around the Arab Emirates area, Iran, Iraq, those kind of places. My first time in that part of the world, so that was a very interesting experience. But I lobbed into Oman, and I had two roles when I went there. In my day job, I'm also a psychologist. So I've been helping out Australian sailing with the classification process around people with an intellectual impairment. And that's a developmental thing that we're working on, trying to firm up how we assess and classify that group. We've already got a fantastic team of classifiers in Australia, plus another group internationally of really awesome professionals, physios, doctors, etc., that do the classification work. So I joined that team and helped them out in the early part of the event. So the first few days, I was doing the classification stuff. And you, as always with these kind of events, you bog in, you just about do anything else. Poor old Leo's was the international measurer. I helped him out putting tape on boats and that kind of stuff as well. And that's one of the things I like about these events. Yes, you might have a title, I'm going there on the international jury, or I'm going there as a classifier, but at the end of the day, it's a question of, what do you need? How can I help you? And everybody just jumps in, and it's a really great community of volunteers making these events happen. So I was there for a few days doing all of that kind of thing as the competitors started to roll in. And the actual event was the 3rd to the 8th of December. But there's an enormous amount of preparation that goes into these events, and usually people who fly in, fly out don't get to see it. One of the things that really strikes you about para kind of events is I pack a bag and I chuck a bit of sailing gear in, I jump on a flight, and it's all a bit of a hassle getting to the airport and getting there. But one of the things, you grizzle and grump, one of the things that really strikes you about this group is that the amount of effort and resources required for them just to get there, right? And usually it's not just them, there's people who support them. We're talking about people with all sorts of disabilities, both physical and vision impairment, those kind of things. So for them to just enter, get themselves to the venue, get themselves set up, deal with all the other ongoing medical issues many of them do have, they're winners just to get there, right? Let alone get into the racing. This particular event was an inaugural event run by World Sailing based on inclusion. In other words, there's already the para sailing that we all know about, and of course we are all pushing very hard to get sailing back into.
Yes, I'm glad you raised that. 2032. Yeah, exactly. That's what we're all working on here, Tom.
That's the goal we're working on. That it belongs back in the Olympics. And
Hannah Stodel was there.
Hannah Stodel and her team. She assembled an awesome team of people from World Sailing, and they did a brilliant job.
Yeah, that's so good to hear.
Pulling it all together.
Dave Graham was there.
David Graham, got to meet him on the first night, and I did name drop. I did walk up and say g'day from Al. Because he probably looked at me and said, who are you?
He owes me a bottle of wine, I think, on the cricket.
He did mention that, Alistair. Anyway. So David Graham was there, which is fantastic, showing that support for this group of sailors and this kind of an event. And he was there throughout the week and then helped with the closing ceremony as well. So it had the gravitas which the sailors deserve. Because quite often you have these events, they might be on the sidelines of a major sailing event. But what's happening with the inclusive mindset and philosophy is, no, it's part of sailing. And it should be on the same platform, same stage as all of our other sailors and our other athletes. That's where they belong. And Hannah's vision is to get them back where they should be.
That's what we want to hear. So we're out of time. We only do these short interviews, but the highlight, what was the best thing about it? What was the event?
The best thing about the event is the huge range of different disabilities that were represented. And I left this event with this idea of sailing provides people with a disability with a different mindset, which is all about possibility, not disability. Because once they hit a boat, they are hardcore racers like any other yachty you'll ever come across, and sometimes even more so because it means so much more to them. So they are really gun hardcore racers. The there's lots of other positives, just amazing stories, amazing people, really humbling. I came home with a crook ankle and I had to swallow a concrete pill and harden up a little bit.
with the nature of your minor disability for a small amount of time. Yeah.
Absolutely. Not the negative takeaway, but room for development improvement is these guys need support. They need a lot of backup and extra resourcing that we just don't think about, just to get them to venues, to get them to be able to compete. And anything that we can do to get them to the race course and get them to the start line is an absolute bonus. They do need that kind of support. And they're always sausage sizzles. I was talking to the Australian team, right? These guys were running sausage sizzles and all sorts of things just to get enough coin to get the visually impaired crew across to home. Yeah.
Good on you, Daz. Great note to finish on. Everything we can do to help them, we should be doing.
Absolutely.
Got to get the whole world behind this push for 2032.
Yeah.
Thanks, mate, for your impressions, and great to have you on Sailing Illustrated.
Thanks for
Tom
having
Julia, over and out from AAAA. See you, mate.
See you.
Good.
That guy seems like Darren Eager seems like just a super likable, nice guy. And I learned a lot from that.
Yes.
Appreciated that very much. And of course, Alistair didn't call me up and say, hey, should I do an interview with somebody who was in Oman? He just said, let's do that because it's a natural follow-up to what we were covering last week. That's the nice thing about Alistair and John and Ed Worley. They just do it. They just get on with it. And all of our producers, like them, who submit segments, we so appreciate it.
I was just thinking that I spent most of my professional life looking at the value of volunteers.
Yes.
And exhibiting the value of volunteers and selling it. And they're the perfect example of that. It couldn't hire the kind of help they have. And it's done with such intensity.
Exactly.
That it's much better than, I am now going to show you how to do this.
Exactly. No, that's it. And then it never occurred to me that you, at an event like this parasailing, you've got to have somebody who classifies to check that the people are qualified, if that's the right word, that have the unique or the disability, the challenge to be able to fit into which of the various classes, disciplines. So that's what apparently Darren was doing there, and then filling in, helping in with whatever else he'd do. So fantastic. I went on his website. He's a psychologist of some repute and executive coach, and so on in Australia.
The interesting thing is you can see that it gives him energy too.
Exactly. Just seemed like a nice guy. And somebody said who said it? Ryman said, great guest, Alistair. I bet he's a lot of fun after a few beers. He's just the kind of guy that you'd like to go have some beers with, right?
Right.
Alistair Murray, thank you very much for that interview on Alistair's awesome FOSI anecdote, Waltzing Matilda. And got some other stuff. We're an hour, and I thought this show was going to run longer, but it seems, at least to me, it's been going quickly. As you say, Julie, you like it when the show has a lot of different segments.
Right.
And we're going to have another segment, this on Sail GP, and it's another video. This one, the highs and lows of the 2025 season. Season 5 just completed. And a bit of a 5-minute video with the various skippers and the contrast between some of them and, say, Taylor Canfield and back and forth is a lot of fun. Then we have some more news about transfers.
Okay.
A big transfer after this, thanks to Jody Shields and others.
Great question.
Season highlight? It would have been way easier if you asked me what my low light was. Yeah, that was dark times.
Highlight of the season is...
A mini low was the last race here?
Yeah, low light. Plenty of them.
So do you want to give me your season highlight?
Highlight's got to be today. I think not just today because of what we achieved on the water, but because of yesterday was an incredibly tough day. And we kept smiling, we kept happy, we kept working as a team, and then we came out today firing.
And your season low light?
Oh, low light's got to be stuck at head to wind, not getting around the windward mark or whatever it was in San Francisco. That was like up there.
What's your highlight of the season?
Highlight of the season. Yeah, we got that one event win in New Zealand. Yeah, I mean, hearing the Aussie national anthem in front of all the Kiwi fans was pretty nice, and then I guess, stealing second from them today wasn't too bad either.
And do you have a low light of the season?
Low light, same, that final race. When you're leading the $2 million final race and you've got everything settled, you got off the line, you're leading everything. We did the hard work and managed to overcome Spain, and then we make that final, we nail the start. That's like most of the battle in general. And we let it slip. So that'll eat away at me for a long time now.
We're asking all their drivers their low light and their highlight. So what is your low light?
Well, I think my low light would be right now. We've definitely had a lot of ups and downs through the season, but kind of knowing that if you can kind of keep building, get into the final, you've got a shot at it. And we definitely had a shot at it 3/4 of the way through the race, but one wrong decision kind of went against us.
And what's your highlight of the season?
Not sure. I think racing in front of home fans in Auckland wasn't our best event, but it was just super special to see how many Kiwis came out to cheer us on, the race course, the grandstand, kind of all the planning that had gone into that and all the hard work really come together.
Diego, what's been your 2025 season highlight?
Highlight probably the American season with San Fran and New York. A couple of good events right there and very close together also was very nice.
And do you have a season low light?
Season low line, we struggled a bit in the European leg around Geneva with some issues in the sailing team with some health issues and stuff, and we struggled a bit there.
Can you tell me your highlight of the season?
Highlight of the season is Sassnitz for sure. Great win after a big injury for me and a big crash. And the big low is for sure Saint-Tropez was our conditions, and we finished sixth. With non-sailing on Sunday, quite frustrating and a bit disappointing for us.
My season highlight is LA.
And what is your season low light?
Low light of the season was the first 3 days off the back of the last event, which was Cadiz. Yeah, that was dark times.
And so can you tell me what your highlight is?
It would have been way easier if you asked me what my low light was.
Well, I can ask you that first. What's your low light?
A low light would be hitting a mark in LA and losing 3 events in one go and for 46 millimeters, but I'm not thinking of that anymore. I forgot that clearly. And the high, right now, I think winning in events to put the season behind us and start fresh is important.
We need your season highlight and low light. So what's your season highlight?
Home events.
And what's your season low light?
Probably the Saint-Tropez event right before the home event.
Can you tell us what your season highlight is?
Season highlight? I think there are many season highlights.
What about winning?
Winning for sure was one highlight. Sassnitz as an event, which was very critical beforehand. It was a very remote place and so on. It was a massive event and it was so successful. So it was also from the wider team a success. It was a great event and great highlight for us. And for me personally, sailing-wise, it was Cadiz. I think we sailed the best in Cadiz, and that was another step forward for us, and really loved that.
And do you have a season low light?
It's pretty obvious, collecting penalty points straight away in the beginning of the season. That was the absolute low. A mini low was the last race here, but was okay. I mean, we had good and bad races here. Not an outstanding event, but we're getting closer.
Well, we're doing a bit of a thing for every driver. This one's going to be a bit awkward for you, but I need a season highlight and low light. So what's your season low light, Phil? You can say not being here, or I don't know.
The season low light, watching it from my couch.
And highlight?
Season highlight, I think second in Abu Dhabi. So it was up there.
Perfect, thank you so much.
Great question.
Yeah, season low light was definitely a breakdown in Sassnitz. Was definitely really harsh and also scary at the same time. And I think the season highlight was definitely in Europe, performing a little bit better than expected and getting the first race win.
So what's your highlight?
I mean, you'd have to say probably the first event of the season, came out swinging on the podium in Dubai, and it was really cool. And obviously, but finishing with another strong event here in the UAE. So I'd say just being over here in the UAE is probably the highlight, and low light, plenty of them. For me personally, probably the collision in Germany, hitting the British. Pretty full-on moment for everyone, and emotional, and just it was a big crash, and had to put my hand up for that. So, we moved on, and I think we recovered quite well from that, and we continue to grow throughout the season.
Awesome, thanks for doing that.
Yeah, as John Emmett says, there were a few lowlights for that American team to choose from as we wait for the Sail GP logo to appear there at the end of their video. Nice. I like that video. Their videos are getting better and better.
Yes.
You've got high production value. Some people didn't like the idea of doing low lights. Steve Adkins and a couple others said, why do we need to do low lights?
Oh, yes. I think it adds.
I agree. I think it's interesting to watch their body language, to see what they have to say, and even especially for Taylor at the end, what he had to say. So many low lights to choose from. Mm-hmm. Transfer news, interesting news here. Andy Maloney, who, as you can see on his bib, was with the Brazilian team, originally with the Kiwis, and then with the Brazilian team in Mubadala for this season. And now you can see down here on the poster that was sent to us by our super FOSI, Jody Shields. Thank you, Jody, for the heads up. And he's been hinting at this for some time. He knew about the Andy Maloney transfer to Artemis. Big headline: Andy Maloney joins Artemis Sail GP in high-profile reunion with driver Nathan Outeridge. So you got an Aussie and a Kiwi and a couple other Aussie-Kiwi types who are going to be fueling the Swedish team, interestingly. And here is a quick video with Andy.
I first started sailing as a kid. It was a passion of my mum and my dad's. In the States, actually, in California, on like a family cruising boat. Really quickly when I started sailing my own boats, I just quite enjoyed the freedom and being out on the water by myself, and just the exploration and the freedom that it gave you as a kid. Yeah, so I've done 4 seasons now in Sail GP. I did the first 3 with the Black Foils, and then the latest season I did with Mubadala Brazil Sail GP team. Now I'm really looking forward to trying to get back to the top with Artemis. Artemis is a very experienced professional sailing team, but they're new to Sail GP. But it's always been a team from the outside that I've really admired how they go about their business. The first time I saw Artemis competing was in Bermuda at the America's Cup, and they had a really cool sort of feel about the team from the outside anyways. And I remember the dock-off songs of the Artemis team getting stuck in my head when I was out racing for the Kiwi boat. So I'm really excited just to join this team, really professional, and to join some sailors that I also have a lot of experience sailing with.
John Emmett saying Sail GP is so good for the sport. Ted Ryman, I'm very proud of GBR. Very impressive beating Tom Slingsby and the Aussies and the Kiwis in that final race in Abu Dhabi. Andrew Dolly DeVola, Nathan keeping Andy sharp in case there is actually an America's Cup. So Dolly's thinking that maybe Nathan is going to get pulled out of Sail GP and that Andy would take over. That's an interesting thought from one of our very switched on Super FOSI, Dolly DeVola, down in Australia. And the next event, of course, is going to be in Australia, the middle of next month in Perth, in the ocean, right outside of Fishing Boat Harbor, I guess, in Fremantle. The Oracle Perth Sail Grand Prix, presented by KPMG. It'll be the 17th and 18th of January.
Wow, it's soon.
Rolling right into season 6. It is soon. You're right, Julia. I have to talk to Jody and see if he wants to do another watch party. That was so much fun. We had a lot of people watching.
Yes.
When he did the commentary via private Zoom, a private Zoom cast that anyone was welcome to attend. And we had a fair few people attending. So we'll see if we do that again when SailGP resumes next year.
Next year.
In a month from this right now.
Right.
17th and 18th of January in Perth in WA. Julia?
Sir.
Just to do a quick piece here on the Southeast Asian Games and the fact that the SSL is participating as the sailing event at the SEA Games. And it's a qualifier for the finals, which will be in Brazil later next year. 5 countries participating the 15th through the 18th of December in Thailand. All Asian countries, of course. The Football World Cup in sailing, or so the Star Sailors League, the SSL Gold Cup, is claiming. They'll be added in Brazil end of next year. But right now, the 15th through the 18th is this SEA Games event. And you've got Thailand. You recognize all those Olympic codes? THA, Thailand. Malaysia, MAS. Myanmar, the Philippines, and Vietnam are the 5 teams competing. And there are the standings as of today's racing. Before, I believe, today, maybe after today's racing, since it's now Wednesday down there. And here's a quick video that I thought you all would enjoy.
It's really great to see those nations there.
Say again?
It's great to see those nations.
Indeed.
In a mixed sailing team sailing event where we have 5 teams competing against one another. The weather conditions today are optimal. It's 31 degrees Celsius, 15 knots of wind, and some really nice waves to be able to put a surf down. In race number 4, we saw a very, very close start as 3 of the boats almost went over the line early. On the first windward beat, we saw Team Malaysia having to do a double tack and lose precious ground to Team Thailand. As we got to the first weather mark, we saw Team Philippines out in the lead. During the first downwind leg, we saw a big battle between Thailand, Malaysia, and Philippines. In the end, Thailand managed to stay out in front, getting their 3rd win. The Philippines sailed well, placing 2nd. Malaysia was 3rd, Myanmar 4th, and Vietnam 5th. Race number 5 saw a great start from all boats, but in particular, Team Philippines nailing the time on distance. On the first beat to the weather mark, Thailand managed to adjust their sails just a little better than everybody else and made it to the top mark first. Team Thailand kept building their lead as they got down to the first gate rounding, where they put in a textbook spinnaker drop, giving a masterclass in downwind mark roundings. As all the other teams arrived at the gate, none of them took any risk in dropping the kite late. But no risk means no reward. In the end, Thailand put a 4th bullet, winning 4 out of 5 races. Malaysia, Myanmar, and the Philippines are all within 4 points.
Our team did very good job today. We won all the 2 races, and how to manage, we make it simple. Yeah, what we practice, we try to be simple, and we did very good job.
So Europe, the U.S., Australia, New Zealand, and now Thailand, Asia, and we're going to wrap the show up on another Asian note, Julia. And that was kind of a cool event. I'll look forward to seeing the finals. More about that on next, not Friday, because no show Friday, but on next Tuesday's show. We'll wrap that up, won't we?
Yes.
I think we should. That gets us to the last leg. And speaking of Asia, the round Hong Kong.
I was going to say Hong Kong, yeah.
There it is. There's the esteemed David James, I think, still a member there at the Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club. And it's an amazing event. It's Hong Kong's largest sailing event, and it was sponsored this year by Sun Hung Kai & Co. Around the Island race took place on this past Saturday with 230 boats taking on the iconic 26 nautical mile circumnavigation of Hong Kong Island. This epic challenge showcased the city's vibrant sailing scene against the backdrop of glittering skyscrapers. Boy, they had a terrible fire there not too long ago, and 3 or 4 of those apartment buildings got burned up, and some people were, that was sad. But what an epic skyline that is. What a fabulous city. I've had a lot of fun in Hong Kong over the years. This epic challenge showcased the city's vibrant sailing scene against the backdrop of the glittering skyscrapers and rolling green hills, a truly unique way to experience Hong Kong's stunning coastline. But wait, there's more, because this year's fleet was as diverse as ever, featuring 7 one-design classes, high-performance sports boats, catamarans, luxurious cruising yachts, and even the beautifully restored wooden classic So Fong, built in Hong Kong in 1937. The race offered a breathtaking panorama. Sounds like Magnus wrote this. He didn't. A breathtaking panorama of sails sweeping across Victoria Harbor and beyond. The fleet ranged from the largest yacht, there it is in that image, Frank Pong's Jellic, to the smallest. There were 12 IQ foils, the windsurfers, the Olympic windsurfer class, adding a spectacular foiling dimension to the race. Conditions were highly variable, with patchy easterly winds between 3 and 14 knots across the course. And that's one of the great things about any round the island race, whether it's around Cowes, whether it's around Connecticut Island, which is the best race in Newport, Rhode Island, and so on. Just fabulous, different conditions as you go around the island. And this race is no exception. And by the way, it was won by a FOSI. At least line honors were taken by this M32, sailed by our FOSI. Ligia, Golden Lily Zhu, of course, Chinese originally, gold medalist, and now living in Great Britain as John Emmett's esteemed spousal wife. And here's a video of their win, first to finish. Congrats to Lily and her crew.
Yes.
Line honors, first to finish in that race. Little champagne there, sailing their China 1 Ningbo M32 and their team. Congratulations. And I think she and John will be meeting up soon in Australia.
Yes.
They're headed to Oz for that. M32s are rocket ships, Steve Atkins is saying. Indeed, they are. Chris Fury is headed from Australia up to London on Friday, staying at the Rourke at the RORC, and then Christmas in Winchester Cathedral.
Oh, God.
Season's greetings to all the worldwide FOSI. Thank you for that. Safe travels, Chris. And that about wraps us up, gets us to the D block, Julia, and your favorite guy.
There he is.
There he is. And we have just a couple here. I thought you'd enjoy this first one. Can you see the name of that boat? It's a tender out at the very end of Cape Cod. It's a tender out at
Oh, crouton.
called crouton out in Provincetown at the very end of Cape Cod. It's a friend's tender at Provincetown. That was sent through. It's a bit of a Christmas photo, too, by our longtime friend Britt Ward, who's now president, by the way, president of Far Yacht Design in Annapolis.
Yeah.
And Britt is coming on the show. I spoke with Britt this morning. He's going to come on the show and give us his view of the America's Cup and the boats and what's going on with the mods to the boats.
Oh, good.
He having been a member of the American Magic design team. And I've done, I don't know how many cups with Britt over the years.
He always gives such interesting comments.
Exactly. And one of the smartest people I know. And the only person, in fact, I think I know, Julia, who's smarter than he is his wife, Jay.
Yeah.
She is extremely smart, like you. I don't know if that's a die or dow, Fritz Mueller. I don't know what that is, but it's a crouton, regardless. It'll be great to get Britt back on the show. Indeed, Peter Taylor, thank you for that. Our next little cartoon. Those who go sailing are happier, more intelligent, and better looking, according to a study I made up.
Absolutely.
That's on the Sailing Life, that Facebook page, which has a lot of these memes, a lot of these cool things. And how can you disagree with that, Julia?
I don't at all.
And we like to end with the sentiment from Blake Middleton that all the smartest people sail. Indeed, we think that's true, and we thank Blake for sending that through many moons ago, which gets us to the finish line, Julia. And you like to say...
Don't miss the opportunity to like and follow and share. It does us lots of good.
Indeed, it does. And comments are welcome even in replay. So those of you watching in replay, you can comment and we read them. And we check to see if they're croutonic. And if they are, Julia will broom.
If they disappear,
And then if somebody does leave a croutonic comment, not disagreeable. They can disagree. It's not an opinion. It's just no coarse language, no finger
or
pointing.
selling something.
Or selling something, but no coarse language.
No.
And no name calling. Alistair Murray, thanks for another great show. Well, thanks to you for your submission. Your AAAA. It was really fabulous.
Yes, indeed.
See you on the next one a week from today, which will be on your actual birthday. Okay, Thierry DeYoung, thank you to you. Rick Banner, great show. Yeah, the whole thing with Claire and the rest of the gang that was there in the afterguard room at New York Yacht Club made that special. Also, the people that contribute to Patreon, our patrons via patreon.com. For like Fritz Mueller, thank you for your most recent contribution. Much appreciated. Patreon.com/join/Sailing Illustrated. Andy Cox, good night. Good morning to you from Bermuda. It's in the late after. What time is it in Bermuda, Julia? It's an hour after New York time, so it's 7 o'clock there, isn't it? Yeah, it's 1900 in Bermuda. I believe they're an hour later than New York this time of year. All around the year. Thanks for your support. You all keep us on the air. It helps us have the equipment, have the streaming fees paid, and so on. That's what we use your contributions for exclusively. Thank you also to those who gave us audio, video, and images for today's show. A long list as usual. And Julia, a final thought before I once again talk about our upcoming schedule.
No, I've again been thinking about the role of volunteers in all this. It's just huge, and it's I think we never give quite enough attention to it.
Volunteers Illustrated.
Yeah,
it's really what it felt like today. We were celebrating, as we often do, volunteers that power our beloved sport.
Right. Absolutely.
Right. Okay, the schedule coming up here, no show this Friday because it's a travel day for me. I am going down to Balboa Yacht Club in Newport Beach for our big annual Christmas party of the team, the It's Okay team. But we'll have 3 shows next week, Tuesday, Thursday, our Thursday, your Friday down under, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. And that Thursday show is the Rolex Sydney to Hobart Yacht Race Watch Party, our traditional watch party for the start of that race, which is at 5:30 p.m. on Christmas night. So we're going to have Christmas dinner here, Julia, at 2:30 or so. You come down. I think Darlene's going to come over. And then we will go live a couple, 3 hours after our little, we'll probably be bloated and belching.
And enjoying it.
And enjoying. We're going to have a ham, honey-baked ham
I'm
instead
so glad.
of turkey.
Oh, I've been missing it.
So we'll do that on Christmas night, our time, which is Boxing Day for those of you in Europe already at 01:30 in the morning UTC and middle of your day down under. And then we'll do another show the next day on Friday. So we'll do 3 shows next week, and then we'll do our regular 2 shows Tuesday and Friday on New Year's week at, of course, our regular time, which is 1300 Pacific Standard Time this time of year. Julia, thank you for all you do. Again, thanks to all the FOSI in the chat and beyond. Congratulations, of course, to Commodore Harrington. I think that was a big hit.
It was. I was. I've been a fan. I was a really big fan, and now I'm a super fan.
Indeed. Indeed. And we hope to see you all a week from today, same time, same channel, and we'll do this all again. In the meantime, go sailing. Sail fast, sail safe, and have fun. Ciao for now.